And we're back in KZN for afternoon racing on the polytrack of Hollywood Bets. Greyville as of at 12:15. 8 races are carded for us this afternoon. It must be said, a very competitive card ahead of us. But unfortunately, I'm sure you know by now, if you have woken up to check up on your latest changes, the champion jockey-elect Richard Fareed is not taking part in proceedings this afternoon. All right, let's just remind you of our contact details. There is our X-handle as well as our WhatsApp number. You're most welcome, and we do invite you to get in touch with us. Now, best before we carry on with Mr. Marie, let me give you the replacement for Richard in the very first, number 3, Bomber Stream. That will now be a chance ride for Inform Atandiwam Gudwa. And on that note, I do greet another Inform man, and that is Daryl Marie. A very good morning to you. Wednesday racing, good luck to Darren and his followers. His horse, I believe, won quite impressively yesterday, Cal Forest.
He did indeed.
All right.
And good luck to all the punters who are going to get involved in today's card.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough one, yes.
Right. Helensky is been labelled the best bet of the afternoon by our tipster, the respected Jermaine Mirage. But see, it is still odds on about the 8 Trippy T. Where are your loyalties lying in the first leg of the bipod, Mr. Murray?
I think Kelensky may race fresh. He's obviously clearly a little bit more effective over further Cecil. So I'm opting to go for Trippy T. He's more of a 1,000-meter horse. He has had one effort over the course and distance. That, in fact, was his first run after a lengthy layoff. He was over a year off the track. So I thought he was in need of that effort. And then last time out, he ran a decent second beyond Chieftain. Now, Chieftain ran 4th in his next start, I think, in a Grade 3 event, beyond Proceed, who went on to win the gold medallion. So, yes, I think over 1,000 meters, as long as himself and Bomber Stream don't cut throats, I think he's good enough to finish in the top 2 at least.
There we have it. I think it is going to be one of those bipods, rather, that should see us through 1 and 8. And of course, if one is to be really looking at the glass as the half empty, if the 2 of them miss out as of the get-go of that bipod, you're certainly worth a lot of money. Bank at the 8, according to Mr. Marie, in a leg 1, and that is a Trippy T. Our preview for Hollywood Bets Greyville on this midweek Wednesday. It is 12th of June, and we're rapidly heading to that first week of July. But let's first of all give you the important news. Our man, Mr. Puri, has been deputized for on the 7 Pantea by Mr. Atandiwam Gudwa, and that will be for Daryl Moore. That is number 7 Pantea, who will be in the upper echelons of the betting. Well, overnight, Pantea was at 15 to 4, 7 to 2 was the 9. Perfect Trust. Those were the 2 that dominated betting, and then the 4. Full of Magic was also at around 11 to 2. As we round off our preview for race number 2, I will give you the latest betting. Daryl, place accumulator, that's where the competitive style starts. Phillies May 66.
Yeah, so we must just add that Richard Fareed in a league of his own currently, but Atandiwe is a very confident replacement. He's riding extremely well at the moment. Indeed. So, yeah, I give Pantea a chance in this lineup. Several coming out of the Zulu Lunga form line, Cecil.
Yes.
Several meeting her on better weight terms. But Zululanga won a nice race last time out. I think she won with a bit in the hand. One coming out of that form line that I respect is Poppy of Bayou. Now, Cecil, this mare is throwing her chances away at the start, especially lately. She's playing up. But if Music can just keep her gathered and focused and out of the pens on terms, I think she could feature over here. I've won several over here in the PA. I hope I survive. An improver could be number 11, Prankster. Now, this daughter by Canford Cliffs, I don't believe we've seen the best of yet, Cecil. Last time out, she didn't show that natural pace that she does possess. But now they are fitting her with a set of blinkers. I know she's got the gate speed to get into a prominent position. I just hope she breaks well, though. And off a 66, I wouldn't be surprised to see her feature. So, like I said, it's a difficult race. I hope I'll survive in the PA. I went as many as 5 runners.
Yes, in fact, as you say, Prankster, first time on the poly last time out, can only have come on for that first experience, and that will be one of the 5 selected with 4, 5, 6, 7, and of course completing that 5 sum is at the 11. That is an outlay of 200 Rand, and you should be on at by latest 12:15. Right, we move on to race number 3, and again a reminder that Way to Win is proudly brought to you by Betway. We are going to be looking at the first leg of the Pick 6. Now, this is a merit rated 86 over the 1,200 meters. At the top of the show, we did talk about a competitive afternoon ahead, and this is just a case in point. Going to the jockey change and favorite, well, it is the favorite number 5, Minion, who's actually been shortened into 3-1 from 4-1, is now a chance right for former champion jockey Smanga. And then we've got the 6, Voldemort, 15-4, also 15-4, and finally a bit of support is the 7, Savantrix, that is from the Dean Calumet stable, 6-1, the 4, Winter Waves at 13-2, and Better Bar those, Mr. Marie. Pick 6 time, we need a pick 6, we need to build up ammunition for another testing weekend ahead.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mr. Burrows didn't suggest a pick 6 of here, Cecil.
Yeah.
He has focused his attention on number 3, Licensed to Thrill, for a place. He believes that should be in the money. Now, obviously, in need of his last start, he makes his debut on the poly track, gets refitted with the blinkers. Let's see how he goes. I think he is Mr. Burrows' top pick, number 3, Licensed to Thrill. I bankered number 5, Palminian in the PA. He is my number 1 choice. I know it's possibly on the sharp side for him, but he's going to be racing fresh, returning from that layoff, and he has a tendency to over-race. So maybe the 1,200 first up after a rest can ensure that he settles and finishes his race off this time around. If you like his chances, you possibly have to give chances to Voldemort, 5 kilograms better off. Winter Waves, 3 kilograms better off. But I'm hoping Samanga in the irons can confirm that form despite the turnaround in the weights. And then number 7, Savantrix, is my second pick. Arrested and gelded, Mr. Caname says in the front of the computer form, include in exotics. He's 1 from 1 on the surface. So for me, it's 5 from 7. Mr. Burrows has suggested a place bet on Licensed to Thrill though.
And very much well done to Darren and his win yesterday. Kel Forest making it back-to-back victories, and in every exotic he suggested for us for yesterday, he actually managed to banker it in everything. And well done to Darren and the Barrowettes who followed his lead. Okay, so we didn't get a pick 6. One day we're going to get a jackpot from our tipster, Mr. Marie. Let's talk about the jockey change. Tristan Gordon now deputizes for the 5 Eventador, who recently relocated to the Ngobo stable. That is number 5 in race number 4. Leg 1 of jackpot 1. We're down to a merit rated 70 handicap. And the support, well, in fact, the favorite is the 7 Tin Cup, 11-4. 4 Tom's Act, 28-10. Support for the 1 Lucretius, 11-2 into 5-1. And then you're looking at 5-1 about the 5 Eventador, now to be a chance rider for Mr. Tristan Gordon, 6-1 and better about those. Now, last Monday when we discussed racing from the Western Cape, I did touch on the cover shot, and that was the horse that ran second, I believe, yesterday afternoon. And this afternoon they've got National Dream as one that could possibly upset the odds. Is currently at around 6-1 is National Dream, in fact 13-2 now.
Yeah, I think he closed in nicely in his comeback effort, National Dream. Maybe just in need of one more, Cecil. One more. But I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see him run a decent race. I'm going to tip a jackpot, verbally though, Cecil. Banker number 1, Lucretius, with 3 fields.
All right.
Yeah, I like number 1, Lucretius. This is a very tricky handicap. But last time out, things really didn't go his way in running. And I'm hoping from a 1 draw, he finally cracks a draw this time round. From a 1 draw, I'm hoping he's a little bit closer to the pace. He's got the likes of on his outside Ibiza Knight and Tin Cup to ensure honest gallop. And off a 65, it's actually lower than his most recent win, which was off a 68. I think he's going to be very competitive, and he's got a chance of reversing the form with those who finished ahead of him in his last start. Cecil, very open race. My top pick is Lucretius. I'd go banker number 1 with the field in exacta for second. If you're looking to beat him, possibly go the field in your exotics.
Okay, so that is the way it is as far as the exotics this afternoon are concerned. It is either you go the Marie way, that is one Lucretius, not only for a win, but also as an anchor in the first leg of the first jackpot. It's off at 2 o'clock. For the start of the second and final jackpot, we have a middle stakes. This is over the 1,800 meters, and once again, personnel changed. The 7 Send Me, racing in those very informed silks of Mrs. Mary Lively, will now be a chance rider for Matthew Thackeray, and that should be no schlep. He's ridden the last couple, and he seems to be attached to the stable of Riverlands. He does a lot of work for them. Now, as far as race number 5 is concerned, it is the 6, a Wyatt's choice of favorite at 11-4. Number 4, Kanyizi Indlela, is in at 7-2. 4-1 about the 2, Ricardo. The 1, Madison Valley, 11-2, 13-2, and a better bar those. 8 runners in the field. Now this, if we took the suggested jackpot from Mr. Marie, would be one of those field races. But there is a tentative first choice here.
Yes, I'm actually in agreement with Darren Burrows of YSSL. We both like the look of number 1, Madison Valley. Now, 3 runs back on the poly track, he finished very close up.
Yes.
Just beaten a neck by Royal Swan Master.
Yeah.
Off an 82, or he's off the same mark. He's well drawn. He's fit. So I think he's got a lot in his favour to run a bold race over here. I'll give him a winning chance. But you have to give winning chances to several over here. Ricardo's in good form. Kanyisa Ndlela is in good form, returning from a layoff. Wyatt's Choice is in good form. Send Me. Master of Destiny is my second pick. I like the look of him. I know he's getting on with it. I mean, he's a 7-year-old gelding. But in his penultimate start, you can see he ran 4th behind Lady Heist. And in that race was Pardon Nom, who came out and franked the form. Have a look at his rating. He was as high as a 91. He's down to a 77. So I think Craig's going to give him a chance. If things work out, he could certainly flash up and run into the money, if not win. But yes, I'm in agreement over here, like I touched on. Number 1 is our top pick, and that's our suggested place bets.
Suggested place bet is confirmed. Darren Burrows is the man who's suggested the place bet. We do know that he holds this one in a bit of regard. And since those blinkers have been on, even allowing for that 7th the last time out, it was from draw 11 from 14. I think Madison Valley's got a lot to come through. And Darren's second choice is actually a kilo better off, having finished in front of Madison Valley on that day. So it should be a good exactor, perhaps 1 from 8, or is it swingers 1 and 8 fire away? And that could make up for the lack of a jackpot here. All right, we continue with our Waited to Win preview for Wednesday's meeting at the Hollywood Bets Greyville. We're on the poly track, and of course, this preview is proudly brought to you by our sponsors, our proud sponsors, Betway. We have no replacement for Richard in race number 6, and that's because his mount is a scratching. That is a global secret. Right, let's have a look at the bet in the 5. Green Falconry is the favorite at 3-1 now in the care of Kumar and Naidu, once upon a time with the Glen Cotson stable in the Western Cape. 7 Purple Flower 4-1, the 3 Pretty Analia 9-2, Nibble at the 10 Drive by 6-1, an even bigger call on the 2 Calling All Angels 9-1 has been shortened in, and that's by virtue of support in to that 7-1, 17-2 and better bar those quoted runners. Now, Mr. Marie, this is a fillies and mare 66, which tells a story within itself, but I think you're going to make a statement here.
Yeah, I'd like to know if Muzi actually had the choice of rides. Now, I know Global Secret's not partaking in this race, but Muzi was booked to ride number 2, Calling All Angels with Global Secret. Accepts it. Now, Calling All Angels, Cecil, you can see she is a 3-year-old, lightly raced.
Yes.
Don't know if she's really gone on with it as the connections have expected, but have a look at her rating. Down from a 90 to a 70 in a few runs. She's having a peak run, and she's unexposed over the mile. Now, I had a look at her dam. Her dam won over a mile. The Angelus. If I'm not mistaken, I think Dom Zaki trained the Angelus.
The Angelus, I do believe you are correct, sir. I do believe you're correct.
So let's see how she goes. I think if she loves the step up in trip off a 70, she can be very competitive. Thereafter, Cecil, your guess is as good as mine. If you are playing trifectas and quartets, I'd certainly include number 4, Mystique Rouge. Nothing went her way in running last night. She was actually overdoing it a bit, and I like that the fact that the blinkers have come off. So let's see if she can feature. I think she's off a very competitive mark, and I do believe MJ's yard's starting to come back to form. So yeah, Darren has opted for a win bet on Green Valkyrie, number 5. Lovely, encouraging debut for Mr. Comnadu. If she can repeat that, she can certainly be a factor.
Well, you've heard it all from Daryl. All that's left for me to say is that this is the last chance to get involved in a pick 3, and it's an off time of a 3:15, race 6. Well, the highest rated race on the card is race number 7, and this is a Greyville Convention Center merit rated 92. It's over the 1600 meters. You can put a line through the intended Rachel Fennick amount of the 2-6 hot fix, and she has been the beneficiary of the indispensability of or indisposability rather, of Mr. Richard Furry. And the 6 Kuma Mori, who comes in with some decent form, is now a chance ride Rachel. So you can cross out the 2, cross out Richard on the 6, and instead put very, very, very in form Rachel Fennicker. Right, let's have a look at the betting for our merit traded 92. And as far as the favoritism is concerned in race number 7, well, that's with Rachel's chance ride Kimamori, 23-10. Not much separating the Canamere runner, the 4, Diane Alley. That's your second favorite at 28-10. And then yet another Canamere run, and the famous Crabbier Silks, number 8, Royal Swan Master. That is at 7-2. It's 13-2 and better bar those. So the field has been reduced to 7 runners. Mr. Marie, Diane Alley, or the 8 Royal Swan Master. We'll touch on your selection either way. But how do you see the race?
Yeah, one has to believe that Darnell is the stable elect. I mean, Craig could have opted to ride Royal Swan Master if he wanted to. So I think Darnell Cecil, unexposed of this distance, the dam 1 over a mile. He's now been stepped up in trip and been out of Flower Alley. I think he's going to love it. Even he's going to go further in time to come. So you can see his rating since returning from that rest came down from an 87 to an 82, and he's very, very consistent and competitive of that mark. So yes, I think he has to go into all bets over here. The likely pacemaker is number 6, Kuma Mori. You touch on the fact that Rachel takes the ride now. I know he likes to string them along, and he hasn't been stopping in his last 2 starts. So that shouldn't be really a concern that he's been stepped up to a mile. I think more of a concern for the punters that like his chances is that he picked up a very hefty penalty last time out. He in fact got the maximum £8. Can I ask you why in... Okay, let's leave it at that. Leave it at that. Then I want to touch on number 1, Josephine's Pride. Now, last time out, Cecil, in his second run after arrest, he just was too fierce in running. He's now having his peak run, and it looks like the pace is going to be on with Kumamori. So if he can slot in second, I think he's going to show marked improvement on his last 2 starts. So I think this is a tricky race. I've suggested an exacta box.
Let's have a look at that exacta box, 1, 3, 4, 6. And whilst you absorb those numbers, I can tell you, a second guessing the man to my right, he would have asked me, why is Muzi not riding Josephine's Pride? That is what I am asking myself. Is that what he was going to ask me, if that makes sense? We'll talk about race 8 shortly. Well, I think so far the product speaks for itself. Betway, your soccer bets, all your soccer needs. The Euros actually starting this weekend. You can get the best offers on the Betway website. And of course, at the beginning of July, that will overlap into the big one coming through from KZN. The same venue, but different surface. And that is the 2024 renewal of the Durban July. Hollywood Bets Durban July. So get on to our website, that is Betway, and you'll sure be able to do a bit of good shopping, soccer, and racing itself. Scratched in Race 8 is a one political party, and that is unfortunately meant to have been partnered by Richard Free. I'm just told to remind you that, and the Aviator as well. You can take part in. But back to the horse racing, and let's have a look at the betting itself for race number 8. And it reads as follows. I think this is the best race of the afternoon. 5 Belly Magic, 28-10. The 6 Space Cowboy 4-1, the 11 Counter March, rather 5-1, 11-2 the 3 Vinyl Destiny, the 10 Victor Rail 6-1, it's 11-1, and better bar those quoted runners. Very competitive in nature, Mr. Marie, race number 8. And we're looking at a Bright Future merit rate at 67. It's over the 1,400 meters. Richard and his mount are not to be part of the proceedings, so that leaves us a field of 10. And how do we negotiate our way around what could be either a great get-out stakes or it is the death knell?
Yeah, Cecil, let's hope we can get the exacta right in the last. Forest Jump gets the one draw. Rachel back in the irons, better than his last starts. I've included him. I think he'll run a nice race. Number 5, Bally Magic, improved recently. He's in good form. He goes handy. Should be given every opportunity in running, so he has to be included. Space Cowboy. This horse was desperately unlucky last time out. I don't know if you recall the race, but unfortunately for Sereno, he just had nowhere to go. And when he eventually switched him out to the outside running rail, he took off late. So I think of this course and distance, which is very effective over, he'll go very close to winning. He is, however, having his second run off the rest. And then last time out, Son of Silk, David Thistleton was furious that he was not declared a non-runner. Well, that he wasn't declared a non-runner. Yeah, Cecil, another one that loves the course and distance. I'd like to see him go handy this time round, though. Let's hope he does get a clean break, because I think he's more effective when he's up on the pace. So those are the forces I've opted to go with the exact
2, 5, 6, and 8 will shortly be confirmed as the boxed exacta, and I can tell you, bearing testimony in the last few weeks, that boxed exacta is the way to go. The exacta is certainly the best bet on the tote. Scratched as a one political party, that is race number 8, and I now recall that brass bell race. That was one of 5 winners at Tanduwe Road. I'm coming back to that same story. That is race 8, the last on the afternoon, 16:25 the off time.